Now, I know that there's such thing as celebrity pastors. You'd be happy to know that I am a celebrity pastor. I don't know if you know that. But I, Pastor James, had his picture up at Fuddruckers for 2 weeks because I ate the 2-pound hamburger. Now, this is a big deal, okay? Because we go into Fuddruckers, me and my buddy Brian, some of you know Brian, and so we see this guy's picture behind the little, where the cash register was. And I said, why does that guy have his picture up? And they said, well, he ate the 2-pounder, but you got to finish the fries and large drink as well. And so that's all you got to do? And I'm like, he's like, yeah. And Brian's like, you could do this. You got this. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't know. He goes, oh, you got this. Don't wimp out now, man. You got this. It's like, all right, I'll try it. I'll try it. And so I started eating it. By like halfway through, I'm sweating grease. I could smell the hamburger like in my pores. I'm not feeling very good at all. He's like, dude, don't wimp out now. The manager is literally laughing at me because I have tears in my eyes. He's like, I can't believe he's still eating this thing. But I finished it, and my picture was up at Fuddruckers for 2 weeks. So I'm a celebrity pastor, yeah. So here's the thing. I came home so sick. And Melanie said, are you okay? And I said, no, something's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. And she goes, well, what did you eat? And I told her, and she goes, that's disgusting. You are such an idiot. Why are you doing this to yourself? Now, you would think I would learn. The following week, Brian dared me to eat a chili cheese dog and a triple chili cheeseburger from Tommy's, and I'm like, you're on. Again, came home sick, and so Melanie now has zero sympathy for me. Anytime I say I'm sick, what did you eat? It's your fault. You're a moron. Now, I think we do this a lot with life, you guys. I think we do something that actually isn't good for us. It can make us sick, and we keep going back to it. Now, how do you go back to something that already made you sick? That's the big question. And I think a lot of us do this with life. I think we keep going back to the same things, the same routines that continuously make us sick. Maybe it's shopping too much or eating too much, or it's toxic relationships or whatever it is. And we keep doing this over and over and over, and we want to have different results. And we're not going to have different results. Some of you are like, I'm not even going to go to church. I don't need to go to church to be a Christian, so I'm not going to go to church, and I'm not going to be part of a community, and I'm not going to go to table nights because I don't want anybody to know who I am, but that's what I'm going to do. Okay, great. But you're going to need community at some point. And so you can't keep avoiding things and then expect people to be there for you when you really need them. So why is it we do this? Why do we keep doing the same things and expecting a different result? Well, a lot of times we do this because we don't feel that there are any other options. It's either I'm miserable or I'm lonely, as if those are the only two options you have. I could either be miserable or I could be lonely. Those are not our only two options, okay? We tell ourselves the same things. They promised they would change. They said it would be different this time. They're better people than I know, most Christians that I know, blah, 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 blah. And then they keep going back to the same problem. Now, here's the deal. We have to understand that this is something that happened in the Bible as well. So I think when we look at the Bible, we think these are perfect people and we are the bad people. So we have to read the Bible about the good people so that we can be better people. It doesn't work that way. The Bible was written by regular people. Regular people. In fact, guys, I could have written what Paul wrote here in Romans 7:15. He says this, I don't really understand myself. For I do not know what is right, but I don't do it. But I know what is right, but I don't do it. Instead, I do what I hate. And I know that nothing good lives in me, that is, in my sinful nature. I want to do what is right, but I can't. I want to do what is good, but I don't. I don't want to do what is wrong, but I do it anyway. But if I do what I don't want to do, I am not really the one doing wrong. It is sin that is living within me that does it. Guys, any one of us could have written that. That's Paul who wrote most of the New Testament. But I'm sure everybody has a story like that. I don't know why I keep doing this. I just keep doing it. Maybe it fills a void, or it helps me not be lonely, or it helps me not be sad, or it makes me feel better, whatever. But we keep doing the same thing. And then we keep hoping for different responses. I'm sure, I'm not going to be the only one, I'm sure, that feels this way. I'm sure every one of you have felt that. I don't know why I keep doing this. I wish I didn't. I would love to not feel this way anymore. Guys, I remember in college, when I first started going to church, I had this really big tug of war within myself. And I remember that's when I realized that willpower doesn't exist for Pastor James. okay? Because when I would go to church, I would feel great. And I'd be like, man, this is what I want to do. I want to do this with my life. I want to give my life to Jesus. I want to follow Jesus. That's what I want to do. And then Saturday would roll around and I'd be hanging out in my fraternity house. And all of a sudden the beers would come in and I was like, you know what? I'm only going to have 2. And I'm going to have 2 and then that's it. I'm not going to have any more than 2. 2 is my limit, guys. That's it. But then the next thing you know, it's like I'm Frank the Tank, you know. I'm just like one after another, like, you know, and I'm just out of it. And then I'm trying to get good for church the next day. And it's just like this wrestling thing that I would have with myself. I would tell myself, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, only to do it all over again. Okay, so why does this happen? Here's why. Sin doesn't always sneak in. Sometimes we are the ones that open the door. It's not just sneaking in. It's not like sin's like, oh, okay, we open the door to it. Come on in. Now, here's what usually follows. When we sin, it usually is the marker of when we're stressed, when we're tired, when we're lonely, when we're feeling invisible. That's usually when we're more prompted to do some things that aren't going to be good for us. Here's what follows. Guilt, shame, I'm no good, I'm the worst, I'm so weak. Listen, guys, you're not weak. You're not stuck because you're weak. You're stuck because something deeper needs your attention. It's not just a matter of being weak, guys. I mean, if you look at it, we're all weak technically, but like, if something else has your attention. And if you don't get anything else, please get this. God doesn't just want to forgive your sin. He wants to free you from it. Here's the problem. God, forgive me for my sins. God, forgive me for my sins. God, forgive me for my sins. He's like, I already did. That's what the cross was for. You're already forgiven. So what's the point? I want to free you from it so you don't have to keep doing it over and over again. James 4:1 says, what is causing the quarrels and fights among you? Don't they come from the evil desires at war within you? Now, here's what he's saying. The war around you is often fueled by the war within you. And that's what we're always doing. We're constantly fighting an internal battle. And then he goes deeper in James 4:2. You want what you don't have, so you scheme and kill to get it. You are jealous of what others have, but you can't get it, so you fight and wage war to take it away from them. Yet you don't have what you want because you don't ask God for it. In other words, guys, you chase what you crave. I crave validation. I crave peace. I crave love. I crave affection. I crave security. I crave companionship. Right, so we can crave all these things, but if that's what we're chasing, then that's not going to help you after in the long run, because you're going to get the affection and then that's going to go away. You're going to get the love, but then that can fall out of love. You're going to get the thing, but it's going to fall away. Okay? So what do? When we don't get it, when we thought we had it, we overreact. And then we go, I deserve this now. I deserve to drink a ton of, schnapps tonight because I had a horrible week. I deserve to go on that website. I deserve to get into that relationship. Whatever it is, right? We got to give ourselves permission because we didn't get what we were craving that day. James 4:3 says, and even when you ask, you don't get it because your motives are all wrong. You want only what will give you pleasure. So James is saying you could pray to God all you want, but you're praying for selfish reasons. You're praying to God give you something. Like, God, give me more money so I can get that boat because my neighbor just got one or something like that. Okay, so here's what it's saying essentially. We want relief more than we want restoration, and we want escape more than we want growth. So guys, this is an interesting thing. When you're praying, really ask yourself in your heart, what am I praying for? I think we do I'm going to pray for everybody else thing so it makes us sound more humble. God, please be with Aunt Betty's hip, and please be with, grandma's get new glasses, and please be, and then we go, and then for me, I want all these things. There's nothing wrong with asking God for things. There's nothing wrong with that. But what's your heart behind it? And then how many times, guys, do we keep going back and chasing these things that we're not good? A lot of times what we do is we want God to bless our choices. We don't want God to change our choices. So we do something that's outside of God's will, and then we want God to bless that. He's not going to. You could pray a million different ways in a million different languages. He's not going to. That's not his will for your life. It just isn't. So instead of saying, God, give me this, God, what's your will? Because I know it's for good, not to harm me, so what is it? I want to follow your plans. I don't want you to bless mine. I want to follow yours. James 4:4 says, James really goes for it here. He says, you adulterers, don't you realize that friendship with the world makes you an enemy of God? Here's the interesting thing, guys. He doubles down on this, okay? He's not like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. That sounds awful. He says, I'll say it again. If you want to be a friend of the world, you make yourself an enemy of God. He draws a very clear line that is, you're either on this side or you're on that side. It's not like wiggle room here, okay? James says, if you're going to be a friend of the world, then you are an enemy of God, period. Now, what is this actually saying? This is hard for us in today's day and age because we have Christian pleasers all over the place. And what that is I want the community in the world to like me, and maybe if they like me, they'll like my faith. But God is saying, if you're going to really stand out for me, they're not going to like you because the world thinks differently than I do. And you can't serve both. You can't serve the world and me. You're going to have to pick one. And we don't like that. So that's why we just say, well, God loves. And that kind of is my get out of jail free card. So that means I could just let everything go. It doesn't work that way. Because when you really love somebody, you let them know you're wrong or you're going in the wrong direction. Now, here's the good news. James leads us with this, James 4:6, and he gives grace graciously. That's awesome. As the scriptures say, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. That's a game changer. That means no matter what you've done, he's got grace for you. You're good. You see, guys, God doesn't expect you to be perfect. He invites you to be honest. He knows what's there. Just be honest about it. I don't know about you, but I don't like phony people. I'd rather have somebody come in and tell me, hey, my marriage sucks right now. Hey, I'm frustrated with God right now, and I don't know what to do. Hey, my relationships are really crumbling, or whatever. I'm not stoked right now what's happening in my life. I'd rather have that than somebody who's coming in and say, God is great, God is wonderful, when I know inside you're not thinking that. Just be honest. Just come clean. He wants you to. He's not expecting you to be perfect. He wants you to be honest. Here's the path. This is how you can do it. James 4:7. So humble yourselves before God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Come close to God, and God will come close to you. Wash your hands, you sinners. Purify your hearts, for your loyalty is divided between God and the world. Let there be tears for what you have done. Let there be sorrow and deep grief, and let there be sadness instead of laughter, and gloom instead of joy. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up in honor. Now, here's what this passage means. Your healing doesn't begin with strength. It begins with surrender. You got to just say, I blew it. I messed up. God's like, I could work with this. This is humility. I could work with this. But he can't work with, I'm right, and just because I'm doing this, it makes me happy. So as long as it makes me happy, who cares? God's like, no. I need you to come clean. Now, there's a really cool story in the Bible that illustrates this. It illustrates the love of Jesus, but also the fact that he's going to confront somebody with something that they may not want confronted. In John 4:1, it says this. Jesus knew the Pharisees had heard that he was baptizing and making more disciples than John, though Jesus himself didn't baptize them, his disciples did. So he left Judea and returned to Galilee. Okay. Now, why is this a big deal from Jesus going to Judea to Galilee? What's the big deal? Why would the Bible put in where he's going? Here's the big deal. Because in between Judea and Galilee is Samaria. And Jews did not go through Samaria because the Samaritans were less than. They were a lower class. They were viewed as the sinners or the bad guys. And you don't want anything to do. You don't even want to go through their town, because then you might run a risk of having to talk to one of these Samaritans, and we don't want to do that. So they would always go around to get to Judea, from Judea to Galilee or vice versa, to go around Samaria so they would not have to go through Samaria. Jesus doesn't do that. He goes, let's just go right through it. And that tells us something. Jesus doesn't avoid the broken parts of our story, guys. He walks right into it, right in the center of it. John 4:4 says, he had to go through Samaria on the way. Eventually, he came to the Samaritan village of Sychar near the field that Jacob gave his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, tired from the long walk, sat wearily because the well was sat wearily beside the well about noontime. Now, again, what's the big deal? It's noontime. Who cares? Why does the Bible need to write every little thing he did? Here's why. Because if you are at the well at noontime and you see somebody coming to use the well at noontime, it was somebody that did not want to be noticed. Because it's so hot there that you want to go either in the morning or in the evening, but you don't want to go at noon. It's too hot. So if Jesus is going to run into somebody, it's somebody that doesn't want anybody to know that they're there, most likely because they're ashamed or they feel terrible about themselves. So in John 4:7, it says, soon a Samaritan woman came to draw water. And Jesus said to her, please give me a drink. He was alone at the time because his disciples had gone into the village to buy some food. The woman was surprised, for Jews refused to have anything to do with Samaritans. She said to Jesus, you are a Jew, and I am a Samaritan woman. Why are you asking me for a drink? Now, guys, this is important. It doesn't make any sense for a Jew to talk to a Samaritan at this time, but Jesus could care less about his reputation. He was more interested in redemption, and he still is to this day. So in John 4:10, Jesus replied, if you only knew the gift God has for you and who you are speaking to, you would ask me, and I would give you living water. But sir, you don't have a rope or a bucket, she said, and this well is very deep. Where would you get this living water? And besides, do you think you're greater than our ancestor Jacob, who gave us this well? How can you offer better water than he and his sons and his animals enjoyed? She is totally confused. She doesn't know what he's saying at this point. And you know what, guys? Neither do we. When we pray to God and ask him for something, we don't really know what we're even asking for. Why? Because we see this, and he sees this. So we're begging him and pleading with him, God, why are you doing this? God, why are you doing this? God, why are you doing this? And he's like, I don't think you understand. I see this, and I've got you covered. You're all set. I've got you. You're only seeing this. And that's the problem. Guys, we get so focused on the surface that we miss the spiritual. In John 4:13, it says, Jesus replied, anyone who drinks this water will soon become thirsty again. But those who drink the water I give will never be thirsty again. It becomes a fresh, bubbling spring water within them, giving them eternal life. This hits home for her because this is what she's wanted for so long. She's been embarrassed for so long. She's felt ugly about herself for so long. She's felt nobody loved her for so long. She feels invisible for so long. And now somebody is like coming up to her and said, listen, I'll give you that security that you're longing for. In John 4:15, it says, please, sir, the woman said, give me this water. Then I'll never be thirsty again, and I won't have to come here to get water. Go and get your husband, Jesus told her. I don't have a husband, when the woman replied. Jesus said, you're right. You don't have a husband, for you have had 5 husbands, and you aren't even married to the man you're living with now. You certainly spoke the truth. Guys, Jesus showed this woman love. He also didn't lie to her. And he appreciated her not lying to him. He's like, you're right, you're not married. In fact, you're living with some guy you shouldn't be living with. That's good. Here's how he was able to work with her, because she was honest. He's like, great. Did he judge her? Did he say, shame on you? Did he say, flee from me? I never knew you? No. He's like, okay, you're right. You told the truth. Great. You don't have to be ashamed of this. See, guys, Jesus can't heal what you won't reveal. He's not waiting to shame her. He's waiting to set her free. And he's like, I'd set you free if you're just honest with me. Okay? So he expects us to do the same, guys, because here's the deal. Jesus didn't just confront her sin. He cared for her story. And that's the same for us, guys. That's why when we're talking to somebody, they don't need your shame or your guilt or any of this other stuff. Just care about their story. And here's why this is so important, you guys. You can't experience lasting freedom if you're not willing to name what's been driving you. This is why we do Rooted. This is why we do table nights. This is the point. We have to get to know each other so that maybe at some point you'll go, hey, I'm scared because my kid's doing this and it's scaring me. Can you pray for me? Can we talk? I'm scared because my marriage is about to go down the toilet. I'm scared because I have this addiction to porn and I don't know how to get rid of it, and it's like I don't know what to do. You're not going to get that casually having donuts at the church. You're not going to go to somebody, hey, how you doing? All right. Hey, do you have issues with porn too? Because I do too. You're not going to do that. You're going to wait till you get to know somebody and build relationships and hear their story. And then you could say, okay, I got to come clean with you about something. Guys, that right there is the key. To get so comfortable with someone that they care more about your story than anything else. They're not going to shame you because they know who you are. See, guys, Jesus didn't just have, she did not just have a behavior problem. She had a heart that was wounded and worn out. And so are most of the people that we talk to. So, what do? Here's one thing you could do this week to avoid the shame. Ask yourself this question. What's one small shift I can make this week to avoid it? Maybe it's deleting an app. Maybe it's putting something on your computer. Maybe it's not accepting a phone call from somebody that's just constantly tormenting you and manipulating you. You know, I don't know what it is. Whatever it is that you're struggling with, maybe it's not buying the thing even though it's on sale. Maybe it's whatever. Just do one thing that's going to help you, okay? Now, here's the problem and why we do table nights and why we do Rooted Again. Most Christians won't do this because most Christians want people to think they're better. I don't suffer from any issues. My marriage is perfect. My kids are perfect. I just want you to view my relationship via Facebook pictures, and everything's great. Guys, our churches are filled with phony people that think just because they're Christian that they're not going to succumb to the same sins everybody else is. That's nothing can be further from the truth. Nothing. Christians or non-Christians, you're still going to be tempted by the same things, and it's hard. And you got to get help. 1 Corinthians 10:13 says the temptations in your life are no different from what others experience. And God is faithful. He will not allow the temptation to be more than you can stand. And when you are tempted, he will show you a way out so you can endure. He's not going to show you a way out if you're secret, if you're hiding everything. Guys, I got shaken this week. A member of ours sent me a podcast about Carl Lentz. Carl Lentz was a pastor who had a massive moral failure. So at first I was like, why is she sending this to me? Is there something else? But I was like, wow, okay, great. I'll listen to it. Now, if you don't know who Carl Lentz is, this is Carl Lentz. Carl Lentz was a rock star. Great looking dude. I mean, this guy had great genes, if you know what I'm saying. Great looking dude, super dressed cool, looked cool. Everybody wanted to hang out with him. He's ministering to Justin Bieber and all these other famous people. The guy's wearing like Gucci and Prada and all these like stuff. I mean, the guy is like a rock star, literally a rock star, right? And so he could do no wrong. And the guy ends up having an affair. And he ends up doing drugs. And when he was talking on this podcast, he was saying that he couldn't tell, he was telling his counselor, he's like, I couldn't tell I couldn't tell my church what I was doing. And the counselor said, why? And he said, because I took the church from 0 to 150,000 people. And if I did that, all of those people could lose their faith. People would lose their jobs. So I can't tell the truth. And the counselor was telling her, you have just made yourself the hero of the story. No longer God that does it. Do you know how many pastors, especially at large churches, think they're the driving force? I think they're the ones that actually got all these people baptized and hundreds of thousands of people. You really think they really think that if I'm not here, it's going to fall apart. It scared me. It scared me that pastors would actually think that, because make no mistake, guys, if this church has changed your life, it is not me, it is God. It's his church. He brought you here this morning. I didn't. And for some of you, that journey here was not easy. So, guys, this guy actually thought, it's me. And he was saying, I had to live this separate life. And I was too ashamed to say the truth because I had so much writing on it. Guys, I was listening to it during my quiet time, and it scared the heck out of me because I realized I could be that guy. And so could you. If you let your secrets become so much so that you have a life here and another life here, you've got a Christian life here and another life here, God could deal with sin. He's already forgiven you. But he's not going to deal with your secrets. He will not. That's pride. And he says, I reject proud people. To reject someone means I'm turning my back on you. Okay? It scared me. It was a good scare. I was glad about it. And guys, honestly, I like this Carl Lentz much better than the 150,000 church pastor Carl Lentz. I do. He said some interesting things. He said, quote, but for the rest of us, we all have stories. We all have a past. And the difference between people who are effective and people who are not is this. Will you use your story, or will your story use you? This guy knows what he's saying. He's been through all of his friends dropped him. He was living in a rented apartment that belonged to one of his friends. And his friends, when the story broke, said, you have to be out by midnight. He had nowhere to go. They just put everything in a U-Haul and drove around all night because they had nowhere to go. This guy went from here to here like that. And so he's able to say, hey, this is it. Now, what he was saying was this. He said, and this is awesome, your biggest pain point, your biggest shame, your biggest pain is actually your greatest power. Now, here's the cool thing. This is the secret that Satan does not want you to know. Because if Satan realizes that you understand that your biggest pain is your greatest power, that means his ability to shame you and guilt you is gone. He has lost his only weapon. He's a liar. He always lies. That's what he does. And he's trying to get you. If anybody found out about this, they wouldn't be your friend. If anybody found out about this, they wouldn't accept you. If anybody found out about this, blah, 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 blah. He's trying to get you to think that because he knows if I lose this, I am in deep trouble. Carl said, my biggest pain is my biggest power. And I'm going to use my pain to help other people. And you got Satan freaking out because it's like, this guy's going to be far more effective. And so are you and so am I. I am going to leave you with this quote again from him. And I hope you read this because this is a guy that's been through a lot. It says this, that it doesn't matter how people treat you and how they label you, as long as you don't label yourself. Guys, don't live with your shame, thinking that if somebody finds this, I'm done. You are in prison if you do. You lose all your strength. Just become honest. Guys, that's the type of church that I want us to be. If you're here and we're building this together, know this is who I want us to be. I don't want anything else other than I want us to be real people with real issues, talking openly. I want us to be able to say, yeah, so I struggled with this and I'm getting help and I'm not going to let anybody shame me for it. I want us to be a church of regular folks. I could care less what you've done, and neither does God. Just be honest about it. Do you know the freedom that this church could offer if we just had a church filled with regular people who are honest? I mean, what we could actually accomplish is amazing. That would be insane because there's a lot of churches that have people and they're just kind of, doing the right thing and they say the right thing and they sing the songs and they write the check and then they go, and then they pick up their kid from the kid area and everything. And it's like the same routine over and over and over. But what if our church actually tried to be regular people who have regular issues and we're not ashamed of them? The power that comes from that is something that I can't wait to see. And I'm going to leave you with this as a wholeness of what we're trying to do. Wholeness requires us to address our wounds and our wants. And when we do, freedom isn't just possible, it becomes personal. I want us to be the freest church in Orange County. I'm not interested in size. I'm not interested in how much money we have. I'm not interested in how many giant events we have. If we could just do this, I want to be the church with the most wholeness in Orange County. And that's what I want us to be. So guys, if you're struggling with something, if you're, something's got you down, know this. I do too. I have struggles too. So do you. Okay. Secret's out. Who cares? Let's be honest about it. I don't know about you guys, but when I started doing this, one of the coolest things that I thought was, man, you know what? I want to be a pastor because I want to see people come to the Lord. And I want to see people getting baptized. And I want to see marriages restored and relationships restored. And a pastor asked me that he was planning a church and he was interviewing me for this thing. He's asking me a bunch of questions. He goes, is that it? And I'm like, no, one more thing. I want to piss off the devil. And I want to be in a church with other people that want to piss him off too. And we do that by being real. Let's pray. Father, I thank you, Jesus, that this is a real church filled with real people. God, we're not going to be a church of a bunch of people that are ashamed. Maybe we have issues in our relationships, or our spouse, or our kids, or our work, or friends, or we have financial issues, or shopping addictions, or porn addictions, or alcohol, or drugs, or whatever the case is, God. You know what all we all struggle with. You already know it. Father, I don't want to hide it. I want to come clean with it. And I want everybody else to too. It's not that we could be ashamed or judge anybody, but that we be free and take away Satan's only weapon, and that is to shame us. Well, we're not going to be ashamed. And we're going to continue to speak boldly on what only you can do. We give you all the glory, God. It's in your name. Amen.
South Hills Church, I just want to take a moment and say thank you for watching our service online. Whether you're watching it for the first time or you're watching it again because you enjoyed the service so much from the weekend, I'd like to take a moment and dive into our giving. Every week we give people the opportunity to give back and give to the local church so that God can continue to bless your lives and bless your finances. Here at South Hills, we believe that everything comes from God. We believe that He's the one that chose us and brought us into this world, gave us our gifts and talents and abilities. And I just want you to know that when we give, we are giving back what God has already given to us. If you've ever seen any of our envelopes at a South Hills campus, you'll see on there that it says, every week at South Hills, your generosity is giving people the opportunity to live a better story. And there's a scripture on there in Matthew chapter 6, verse 21 that says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So I want to encourage you today to click down below and set up your giving, whether it's for the first time or whether you're doing reoccurring giving. We have 4 ways to give here at South Hills. 1, you can do it in person at any of our campuses through an envelope. Or 2, you can actually text any amount that you would like to 84321. And the 3rd way is to download our Church Center app. I encourage you to do this one because the Church Center app gives you opportunity to stay connected with our church and your campuses. It's a great tool and resource for you to know what's going on. And the 4th way to give is to give online. You can go to southhills.org/give and you can set up your giving there. Whether you're a guest of our church or whether you are a member of our church, or whether you simply just like to watch our services, I encourage you to trust God with your finances so that He can bless and anoint your finances, and you can be trusting God in this journey of living life to the fullest. I love you, and thank you for watching our online service today.